Do it for the green. I just do it with my team.
Okay, back to the cat who the real on the rap with a small town team, but he got him on the map. More than a brand, got heart on my sleeve, got soul on my chest, got spec on the cap. My team good, my team working. Where your team, one person. Just cop the studio, we deserve it. I throw the hoop like Irvin, don't nobody pass like me. Set it up, y'all passed on me, now I hurt, yeah, I bet it does. I'm only out here being everything I said I was. Who you know stunt like us and spread the love. One-on-one, I'm authentic, no cash, I want all credit. You blew the money, y'all bald-headed. Want the beef, but it's all deaded. Did you kill him Pack already?
Always on my grind, baby, I can never stop. Started at the bottom.
What's good? Yo!
Podcast, what are we on now?
6?
Podcast number 6.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nobody Epic for coming through podcast 5 and spiking the numbers for the podcast. Definitely the most popular one so far.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, podcast number 6. Let's see what I got here as far as topics. I've been pretty good about marking down topics this
Good, that'd be
week.
the first.
All right.
Never come in prepared.
Always coming prepared. So, did you watch any of the Olympics?
Pretty much 0.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not that into the Winter Olympics, really.
So, my wife is super into the Olympics, and I'm really not into the Winter Olympics. I think they're extremely overrated.
Yeah, I mean they're cool. Like if I was just sitting around bored and they were on, it's not like I wouldn't watch them.
You want to know the thing that I enjoyed the most was curling.
I think I would be the same. Like I know in the past that's been one of my favorites.
It definitely was one of my favorites, and I don't know. This is the most I've ever watched the Winter Olympics, and because of that, I'm really sticking with the overrated opinion
Of the Winter Olympics?
Yep. I feel like I can legitimately talk about it, and if anyone asks me, I can honestly say now that it's just extremely overrated.
Well, okay, what do you have in the Winter Olympics? I know you have a lot less sports. Curling is straight to watch, but you got a lot of ice skating.
Right.
Like you got speed skating, figure skating. Let me look up a list right now. You got
doing it.
A bunch of skiing. I mean, hockey is hockey. That's whatever, but never been my favorite sport. But it's got to be one of the better Winter Olympic sports. I mean, who's going to sit there and watch cross-country skiing? Give me curling. Give me bobsledding. Give me maybe like the luge shit for a little bit.
You want to know what was the hilarious part about all this is they had the closing ceremonies last night, and so I'm watching them, and they're showing all the highlights of everything cool that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go down the 20-minute like rundown of like all the cool moments of it, I was like, yeah, this is sweet to watch. But when you're actually watching those events, because a lot of them I actually saw in like when they were broadcasted.
Right.
So you have to go through all of the runs, and you have to sit for like, I don't know, like an hour for all of these events and all these runs, and sit through all the athletes that go through for like literally 1 or 2 like cool things to happen.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of my thing with between summer and Winter Olympics is there's summer sports where I will sit down and watch a whole event and it's entertaining. Whether it's like, I love all the volleyball, especially the beach volleyball. You got basketball. Dude, badminton, I'll watch that. Some of the, what else we got? All the swimming events, the track and field sprints. Like, they got a lot of stuff where I can sit and watch an event. Water polo.
Yeah. Well,
as far as the winter sports, it's like one dope trick or, you know, while you're sitting through cross-country skiing for the rest of it.
I totally forgot to write down. There was this, when I was looking up like the comparison between the summer games and the Olympic games and to see what events were actually in them.
Yeah.
I came across this thing like Twitter compares Winter Olympics to Summer Olympics, and it was pretty much just like, Winter Olympics, watch me go down this sheet, like whatever. And it was like super true though, as far as like Summer Olympics is just like pure athleticism and everything like that because it's just running and jumping and like all of that. But with the Winter Olympics, it's like, let me get on this instrument and see how fast I can go down this absurd hill.
Well, I mean, part of it is everything in the winter is done on ice, pretty much.
Yeah, well,
or in the snow, whatever.
Or snow,
yeah, so it's like, that doesn't open you up to all the what you would consider athleticism.
Well,
so,
that's it, yeah.
I don't remember what day it was. Whatever. Did you watch the U.S. gold medal curling one? Didn't they win the gold?
Yeah.
Was that sweet?
That was sweet.
What night was that?
That was...
Was it in the middle of the night?
Friday? Yeah, like later Friday night, I want to say.
Well, I get a text from Dags at 4:16 a.m., which I didn't get till I woke up in the morning because I'm not up at 4:16 a.m.
Right.
I'm buzzed right now. But I will quit drinking, quit everything to win a gold medal in curling. No age limit. I need a partner. We can do that. Did you just see that? That's what I wake up to. Those are the texts.
Yeah. It was because I caught like half of it, and I actually went back to watch the replay of it. And it's entertaining. I just like watching it. I would rather watch me and my wife had literally sat for like hours because they always have like the channels that just show like the specific more popular sports on the NBC app.
Like Red Zone for the Olympics?
Yeah, and it was like literally just hours of curling. And I would just sit there and be super entertained and be pissed whenever primetime came on, and then they try to show all these sports that I don't really care about.
Yeah. So, but that leads me to an interesting topic. Because Dax and I talk about this a lot, and the Olympics is a good time to talk about it. Do you think, like, what sport, winter or summer, would you go for if you were just... Because there's a lot of Olympic sports that these people don't just do it year-round because there's not the money in the sport. So they pick this up and say, I want to make it to the Olympics. I want to get really good at this, and they end up doing it. But back home, they're an accountant, for their paycheck. Right. What sport could you do that in? Curling, I think, would be one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else? Like, there's some that just I don't see. For me, like, I ain't gonna be, bobsledding. Like, when am I gonna put in the time for that? I could curl. What's in the summer? Water polo's got to be low key one of the hardest things ever. Even though it looks so easy on the surface, because you just see their upper half just like floating around, throwing a ball around. Yeah. But they're literally killing each other underwater while treading water.
Yeah, I know.
That's got to be one of the most insane. Like, I couldn't do that.
I couldn't do that. But there's a lot of sports.
Obviously, you're not going to do basketball, any of that shit.
But here's the thing. I read
sprinting.
I read the list of Summer Olympic sports, and there's a lot of sports that I have actually played before and enjoyed. Yeah. But I can't see myself doing that in an Olympic setting.
I feel like I could do handball.
In an Olympic setting?
I feel like handball is just a bunch of guys that couldn't do any other real athletic sport and that went to that, which would be me.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of reckless to say.
I don't know. Give me some time. Give me some time.
Because I do agree. I watch curling and I'm like, if I had time to practice that, based on what I think the competition would be, because it's not something that I typically think of that people are like, yeah, I literally dedicated my life to playing.
That's the other question is how do you make, do they just have qualifying rounds? Is it like a tournament to get into the Olympics, or do they have an actual curling circuit throughout the year that
there's a curling,
at the end of the year you just become the best?
They actually said it on the channel.
So do they just take the top ranked guys from throughout the year?
They compared it to the PGA Tour, and they were like, they have this like association.
They obviously probably don't get paid much, but that's what they do.
But they have it, yeah.
So do they just take the top teams from that and they get to be in the Olympics, or do they have an actual Olympic qualifier? Like I think most things do.
I think they have a qualifier, but I'm not positive.
That would be interesting. Because one of the big things I talk about all the time, especially with Dags when we talk about this stuff, is golf. The fucking Champions Tour that you can't get on until you're 50 years old. It's the senior tour for golf.
Right.
Could I, you know, an average, like good golfer, but not special.
Right.
I shoot around 80. Could I, when I'm 45, start training like actually? Because that's the thing. I've never taken lessons. I've never done any of that shit. And you're in the same boat as me.
All right.
When we're 45, could we go train hard for 5 years for golf? And when we're 50, have a chance to get on the Champions Tour. I'm not saying be the best golfer on the Champions Tour. I'm saying just be on it.
Get paid to play golf.
Yeah, because when you're 50, you're the youngest guy on the Champions Tour. So just by default, your body's breaking down when you get older. So just by default, when I'm 50, I'm going to be better than a good amount of guys, or at least have a better chance to be good than a lot of guys on the tour, because when I'm 50, I got an advantage over a guy that's 65 on the Champions Tour.
Yeah.
Like, he might have been dope when he was 50, but damn, your body starts to break down. Like, you can't tell me I can't hit the ball further when I'm 50 than a 65-year-old.
If you actually, like, practiced and dedicated
I could hit up Gary.
Your old man life.
I could hit up Bissell.
That. Yeah, I could see that.
I want to call Bissell right now.
How much does somebody get paid though for playing on the?
I don't know, and that's the thing. It wouldn't even necessarily be that.
Would it be like a retirement thing?
Yeah, it wouldn't even necessarily be. I need to do this for a living. Just let me be on the Champions Tour and be competing when I'm 50 for stuff.
How
like that.
How old is the oldest Champions Tour player?
Look that up. I'm gonna call Bissell right now and see if he answers his phone. So. Do I even have it?
Tell the viewers and the listeners who this is.
Well, it's only going to matter if he picks his phone up. But he's one of my buddies that went to school around here, but he's the golf coach for Grand Valley State right now.
I'm going to look up.
I'm a better golfer than him, though.
Bullshit.
No, that's false. He probably won't pick up. Damn it.
Probably not. He's too busy for this.
He would just sass me anyway.
How old is...
I'm sorry I'm unable to take your call right now.
oldest?
Please leave a brief message, and I'll get back to you.
Unbelievable, Gary. Well, see, because that's the thing that brings me down to earth sometimes, though, is that we know some good golfers, right? Like Gary, for example. He's the golf coach, but on his own, he's a really good golfer. Now, I feel like if I called him and said, what are my chances of training for the Champions Tour when I'm 45 for 5 years? Could I get on it? Part of me feels like he would be like, no, because he would say he couldn't even get on, or he would have a tough time. And he's a better golfer than I am. But I'm a much better athlete than Gary.
Okay.
Let's be real here. And he's been, training for golf. Give me some time to train. Let him coach me up. I feel like I could get on that level.
So Gary Player holds the record for being the oldest player to win a championship tour event. He was 62.
See, so right there, that tells you something. Because who's the oldest player on the Champions Tour? Does it say?
I'm trying to find it. So
because if the oldest player to win anything is 62,
there's a recent, or no, that was not recent.
If the oldest player to win anything is 62, I gotta imagine there's guys all the way up through 70 on the Champions Tour.
I would imagine.
So
Hale Irwin is 70.
So if I'm 50, I'm killing everyone that's over 62 for the most part. Obviously not everyone. Gary Player, one of the best golfers of all time. He's going to be better than me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm going to be better. I'm just saying I have an advantage. That's all I'm saying.
I wonder, because there's this article written in 2015, Hale Irwin, now 70, still has drive to compete on Champions Tour.
That's baller. And that's what I want to do.
He's got to be. He had to have been one of the oldest.
When he's a great golfer too. So I'm not saying I'm going to be winning tournaments and stuff. I just want to be on it.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm going to do when I'm 45.
I don't think that's absurd. But I don't know. Like that's the thing is like we have never played golf competitively to even have like.
I know. That's why I feel like.
On this.
So right now, when I just think about it, I'm like, I could do it, but I feel like if I talked to Gary, he would be like, "You're an idiot."
You want to know the Summer Olympic game that I think that I could actually compete in?
You could not compete in anything. Do they have a IT event?
No. Ping pong.
Okay, I've thought about that too. You couldn't compete in it, but
Not right now, but if you
No, I
gave
know,
me
I know,
if you
but-
gave me 4 years.
dude, have you seen these? Have you seen the Asians play ping pong?
Yeah. But okay, if I actually train under somebody that actually knows what they're doing and can get me prepared for that, I'm pretty sure I could get pretty close to being being an Olympic table tennis player.
Ping pong is one where. Hang on, I'm going to text Gary to call me back if he can call me back before the end of the podcast. But you wouldn't be able to win because the Asians would kick your ass. But
I'm not
it would,
saying
but it
win.
would be that's the thing. It would be sweet if you could be like the American hope to finally
Yeah.
beat the Asians in ping pong. That
Or
would be
at
sweet.
least come close, like maybe win a bronze.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
That'd be sweet. I don't think that's absurd.
Do they do doubles ping pong or no? I feel like I haven't seen that.
I don't think they
That'd
do.
be tight. We could get in on that.
I don't think they do. I don't think that's a thing. Just like I don't think doubles tennis is a thing either in the Olympics. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, whatever.
But that's another thing. It's like
when I'm
Summer
old,
Olympics.
that's what I
though,
want to do.
I always catch myself watching the most absurd sports because, like in America, we can catch like basketball, golf, like all that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But like in the Olympics, that's not really like catching my interest a whole lot. But sports like ping pong that aren't on ESPN all the time is super. It's the same thing as curling in the Winter Olympics. It's like something that you don't see all the time.
Yeah.
Like curling isn't in the X Games or anything like
Right.
that.
Did you hear Nipsey's album?
I listened to a couple songs.
A couple songs? Come on.
I'm busy.
We're supposed to be talking about music here, and I come in with new albums every week, and no one up here has ever listened to them, so I'm just like, oh, the album's dope. Good to talk about it. See you later.
Well, from what I heard, I need to listen to it because I really like the beats that I heard. I think this is one of the ones that I heard. What is
He's
this
got
called?
some dope videos to it, too. To like 4 or 5 songs off here.
Yeah, I saw that. I haven't seen any of the videos.
He's finally got a budget now because he's signed.
Who is he signed to now?
I think Atlantic.
Atlantic.
But okay, so here's the thing with Nipsey that people that aren't familiar don't know. So he's signed now. I want to say to Atlantic. His deal's got to be a great deal because Nipsey he's one of, if not the best examples of an independent rapper.
Good.
I think he's like 32 or 33 now and he's signed.
Yeah.
He was signed to Epic like way early on, but got away from them in like 2010 maybe.
Yep, I remember.
So he's done a ton of mixtapes.
Mm.
I remember really first getting familiar with him when he did the Marathon mixtape in probably like, I don't know. Oh, Gary's calling me. All right. Let's make sure we got you make sure the audio is good with all this stuff. What's up, Bissell?
What's going on?
You're live on the podcast.
Nice.
Were you rising and grinding this morning?
Dude, I do want to say I've been watching your podcast and it's tight.
Nice.
It is tight.
Nice.
Right,
Well,
Moti?
It's super tight.
what are you up to right now?
I am at work, rise and grind, just like you said.
Okay, good deal. Well, okay, so I wanted to get your opinion on something if you got a minute.
I do.
All right, so we were talking about the Olympics and possibly if there was a sport in the Olympics that your average Joe athlete could pick and train for and possibly get in the Olympics someday. Obviously not like basketball or track or some shit like that, but, curling, some shit. Which led me into a conversation I've had with Dags before about the Champions Tour with golf. So we just talked about it, so I'll get through it real quick because the listeners have already heard. But my idea is when I'm 45, I start training for the Champions Tour. I get 5 years of good training. By the time I hit it, I'm 50. I'm the young gun on tour. I got an advantage over all these guys because at the very least I can hit the ball further. They're all old senile bastards that can't read the greens, and they probably need to drive around in carts while I'm walking the course hitting bombs. Could I do that, or is that a pipe dream?
You're pretty off base here.
Bullshit.
You're missing a lot of things. For the Champions Tour, there's not very many spots available because the vast majority of guys who had good PGA Tour careers get full exemptions, leaving, I would say under 10 spots for average Joes like yourself.
Under 10 spots?
Yeah, it's somewhere
Holy
in that
shit.
neighborhood. If you didn't have any PGA Tour status going in, you don't really have that great of a chance. The other side would be is in 5 years you may be able to hone in your skills, do this and that, but you're not going to have the tournament experience, which is really important. Like, you've never played for $1 million before.
That's correct.
And that takes a long time to get used to. And not only that, it's hard enough to play for $1 million on Thursday. Put yourself in Justin Thomas's shoes yesterday, coming down the stretch on Sunday. Like, he's playing Luke List, who's never won before. And you could tell Justin Thomas was more comfortable than List.
Right. But I do have experience winning big time golf tournaments, though.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you consider a Division III state title with a really weak field.
Now we got a weak field. Now we got a weak field.
I mean, let's just be honest. You got Forest Acres East, where it's an easy golf course.
Everyone's playing the same course. Why does that get held against me?
Well, if you're playing an easy course, like, for instance, like, you can hit your driver everywhere in Forest Acres East and be fine. Whereas West, like, you're going to get in trouble, which I'm assuming you probably did.
I'm hitting every fairway out there, bro. I had a nice draw going. I blacked out for 2 days, and I won that thing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to totally take away from.
I mean, I understand your tournament point, but I do believe I have the clutch gene when it comes to golf.
Yeah, you could also argue you peaked in high school. So
In more ways than one.
So, I mean, I don't
Okay.
know, man, but here's what I would tell you. I definitely wouldn't wait till 45. If I was you, I'd get on your grind right now.
Okay. Right now?
Yes. Dude, okay, the other thing to your theory is, like, I'm going to be 50, I'm going to be the young gun. It's like, but there's going to be a bunch of other dudes that just turned 52, like Justin Thomas.
Yeah, well, he's in.
Like,
I'm not competing with Justin Thomas.
You are on the Champions Tour.
I know. But I'm not saying let me get on the Champions Tour and win all these tournaments. I'm saying let me get on it. So, like, Justin Thomas will be a baller on the Champions Tour. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about, I'm in a tournament. Like, there's guys 65 years old on the Champions Tour. You can't tell me when I'm 50 that I don't have a good shot to take them down.
Yeah, you don't.
Gary.
So,
You think visors are cool?
Here's what I'll say is I don't think like it's the worst idea I've ever heard. Like, it's definitely a possibility. More of a possibility than, other sports, like you said, like football or basketball.
Right.
Like, those are more,
Obviously.
it's definitely, golf's a skill sport.
Right.
Did
I've
you
never
guys
taken
tournament
lessons or anything either.
Right. That's true, which is
So who
interesting.
knows where my ceiling is? I could be on the tour right now.
Yeah, I would probably stick to the
Okay, well, let me shift because I know you're saying this is closer to a pipe dream than a reality now. What would your chances, if you started at 45 being like, that's my goal, what would your chances be?
Not very good, but much better than yours.
Right. But, okay, if you had to put a percentage on mine and yours, what would you put those percentages at?
Oh, man. I would give myself under 5%.
What? And mine lower?
Oh, God.
Oh,
I don't
I'm coming
even
for
think
this.
I could put a percentage on yours other than 0. There's a
Wow.
lot of
Wow.
decimals in there.
I'm coming for the Champions Tour.
Hey, if you changed it to you start grinding at 35, I'll give you a couple % chance.
Okay. Well, check back in with me in a decade and we'll see.
That makes way more sense to me, though, than what we were even talking about.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for shattering my dreams, Gary. Good talking to you.
All right, appreciate the call. You guys have a great day.
Yep. Peace.
See,
Well, that's disappointing.
he put you in check.
Hey, he gave me he said virtually 0, which is above 0. So I figured he would just straight up tell me no, and I'm and I'm stupid. So
And he took down your state championship in the.
he's jealous. He'll never get over that.
I enjoyed that phone call.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
You were on to Nipsey.
That's right.
Do you need something?
I need to get in the zone.
Turn your ego back up again.
I need to get in the zone.
Gary took you down a notch.
Fuck Gary. It's fuck Gary. All right, anyways. Nipsey. Where was I in talking about Nipsey? Oh, the marathon. That probably dropped, I don't have my dates exact, but somewhere between 2010 and 2013, something in there. That's the first time I really got put onto him. I remember going to Qdoba with Dags and Q. It was like, it must have been summertime or something, because I remember it being really nice out. We just had the windows down. We had just smoked. You know, I've never been a smoker, but we had just smoked. Let me see if I can find the song. It was off, I'm pretty sure it was off the Marathon. And Q and Dags were showing me Nipsey. And I was like, I thought it was just the whole project, but especially when this song came on, because I think it was when I was the highest. When I was the most blazed.
Wow.
This came on, and I was like,
Yeah. Hustle in this motherfucker.
Nipsey's next, bro.
What up?
Nipsey is next. I was, you know, the windows were down. Nice day.
Yeah.
So we got to Qdoba, and I went to go order, and I couldn't even lift my, or they wanted me to get out of the car, and I was like, bro, you gotta order my burrito for me. I can't lift my arms. But this project, if you haven't heard it, The Marathon by Nipsey, fire, go listen to it. This is Currency and Whiz beat that he did, but fire.
I remember
We
this
used
song.
this for some shows to like hype the crowd up back in the day.
Yeah.
But anyways, Nipsey did some mixtapes, and he really grew his buzz independently. And one of the big kind of crazy things he did that stands out was a few years ago he dropped his Crenshaw project. I think it was with the Crenshaw project. I could be wrong, but he did the whole thing where he made 1,000 hard copies and he sold them for $100 each, because his whole thing is like, fuck the middleman. That's his big thing, which we as independent artists wholeheartedly agree with.
Right.
And so he did that, and he's also like, it's about how much you gross. It's not about these numbers as far as like, oh, how many albums did you sell?
Right.
When you get to if you're young and up and coming, you want to get as much exposure as you can. So if you sell a lot of albums and get a lot of reach, that's different.
Right.
But if you're an independent artist and you've been doing it for a while, or any artist that's been doing it for a while, and you're not necessarily growing your fan base,
Right.
it is about how much you gross. He compared it to the movie industry. He's like, they don't rank how well a movie did or something by how many tickets it sold. They rank it by how much it grossed. And so he was like, let me do 1,000 copies, make it exclusive, $100 a pop. Let me sell out of those. And that's $100,000 right there.
Yeah.
And then my shit's also up on streaming sites and whatever. You can get the normal digital. And he sold out in 24 hours, I think. I think Jay-Z bought 100 copies, who they didn't have some big relationship beforehand, and it wasn't just like a favor. It was Jay-Z was recognizing the...
I remember that whole story.
Yeah.
That's what... I mean, because I think that Marathon project that you just played was, I think, the first Nipsey album that I listened to all the way through.
Okay.
And not the first time that I heard of him, but the first time that I actually listened to one of his albums all the way through. And I've always been a fan of him since then, and I listened to Crenshaw too.
Or The Marathon Continues, you mean? Oh, Crenshaw also.
No, Crenshaw also.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, there was only one Crenshaw.
No. And I listened to that, and I think that was mainly because of I just remember there being a lot of hype around that at the time he released that, and because of what he was doing with that album. And there were tons of stories about it and when Jay-Z did that, like bought 100 copies
Yeah.
or something like that, that made a lot of news too. And that
if you're interested in independent, which if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have some type of interest, but with the independent hip hop scene, go listen to Nipsey Hussle interviews and stories and stuff. This guy is exhibit A of independent rappers.
right.
He opened up his own on Crenshaw, I believe. Either Crenshaw or Slauson or Where They Connect or something. He opened up his merch store.
Mm.
And if you watch, there's videos online about that, and the whole story behind that is crazy.
Mm.
Because he's from the streets,
Yep.
but yeah, just go look up his story. It's pretty incredible, and he's doing awesome things. So that's why I say he's built up such a business on his own. His merch does really well, his Crenshaw merch. That his deal with Atlantic now, it's got to be very favorable because he's super smart.
Yeah.
And he's not signing any dumb deal. He's probably got control. He talks all the time about how he owns all his raps, all his masters, all that stuff. So I'm sure his deal is a great deal, and it's just something to get him exposure. You can, like I said, his budget for the videos he's been making is, you can tell there's a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But shout out Nipsey. That his new album is dope. And I see people that are new to him being like, "Oh, he's on his Rick Ross with the beat selection. Like, great beat selection."
I heard that about this.
His
album.
beat selection's always been dope. If you ever listen to Nipsey,
Yeah.
like, don't say he's on his Rick Ross. He's always picked dope.
He's
beats.
always picked dope beats. As far as any of the projects that I've listened to, he's always picked dope beats. And I just respect him even more just because I really am a fan of his music, and hearing his story just makes you, like, respect him even more.
Yeah. Because
he is, like, 100% independent and does his own thing, and just hearing the product that he comes out with as a result of that, I don't see how someone can not respect that guy. Like, he's dope. He's talented. Yeah, so I don't know. I had one topic that came through my social media accounts, or probably because that's normally what all these things come through on.
I don't know what else it would be. Telegram?
So no,
Postcard?
or just a conversation like from a friend or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was something I saw on social media, but I think it's a good discussion to have because I always wonder, as far as, and even when I look at myself, like, I take a step back out of my little box and I take a look at myself, and I'm like, okay, so us being entrepreneurs and stuff, and how much you have to be aware of social media, and just even to reach out to the people that care, your fans and stuff, you have to use it. But at what point, either business-wise or even more importantly personal-wise, does that become too much? As far as you even see, like, the new age entrepreneurs now, like, the biggest one I think about is Gary Vee, and how he's just kind of like, social media. If you're not using it, you're stupid. Your grandma's using it. Like, everybody's using it. And if you're not using it, you are just out of touch and you will fail. That's pretty much like what his whole thing is. Like, you need to put the work in on social media in order. But then, and I agree with it on the outside of everything, because like, this new age, like, if you have an online business that is like, which pretty much every business has an entity that is online, you have to be aware of all that. But on the flip side of everything, it's tough to separate, like, your personal from your business, as far as getting immersed into that social media lifestyle and really forgetting who you are as an actual person. Like, do you just become the social media entity of yourself if you start using that too much with the disguise of it being for business? You see what I'm saying?
Like kind of the "we know you in real life" sentiment?
Yeah, but taking it a step further, as far as, you may think that you are in control of your social media life, but is your social media life controlling you? You see what I'm saying?
Wow, that's deep.
I was I was really thinking about that because honestly, like there's a few things that, I mean, people that know me, I'm not on social media a whole lot. Like I rarely post to Facebook anymore. I don't really post to Twitter a whole lot anymore, except when I'm ranting about a basketball game or
Yeah, I was just about to
like
look up
whatever.
your Twitter because I do feel like I feel like you're very negative on Twitter.
yeah. And
That's our doorbell that just rang.
oh yeah.
You should go check that.
I'm gonna go check that real quick.
I'll just play some Nipsey while you're checking it. My phone wasn't recording Moti's visual for the first half of this podcast, I believe. Or at least it turned off after the Gary phone call, so I just had to restart the video. So Mo's about to be pissed. But it is what it is. This is my favorite joint off Nipsey.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Niggas don't know them days.
Show the people.
Ooh, we got the new
green.
St. Patty's Day. Get your spec gear.
Oh yeah, we're ready. We are prepared.
So, you were talking about like social media and having it. I was talking about how negative I feel like your Twitter is, which that's what I should have been doing, is looking at that. But yeah, I see a lot of it's just a lot of vague, frustrated tweets. It seems from you.
Yeah.
I love music, but I hate the industry.
Yeah.
There are just not enough hours in the day.
Mm-hmm.
All the G-Eazy stuff.
Yeah. And but I guess that's
You definitely like bitching about state hoops.
I like bitch because I guess that's the thing is like the only time that I'm on social media is something that is like way bigger than it's literally bitching about like
And then you're promoting the music in the meantime.
yeah, I'm promoting the
obviously.
music, which is always positive. I'm yeah, like I think it's mainly just like I'm promoting the music, I'm saying positive or negative things about music, or it's just mainly like if Spotify's pissing me off, if Comcast is pissing me off, if something like that is
because this day and age, tweeting about that stuff
right
actually gets you somewhere.
yeah, it gets you somewhere. So, but that's literally it. Like that's what I use Twitter for.
Right.
And I don't use Facebook in the same way because Facebook is just not interesting to me. So I'm
trying to think about what you're saying, and like I'm trying to come up with a good take about it.
right.
I'm having trouble just because I agree with you. I think it can be hard to separate this day and age to separate real life and social media. But I think a lot of it just comes back to the type of person you are. Like, I think at your core, if you're a real person, like a down to earth person, you can do that.
It could be. I just wonder though, like
And if you're not, social media is gonna expose you.
if so much of your life though is social media, and you disguise it in your head as I have to do this for business.
Like if you
And-
obviously not on that big of a scale, but if you're a daily vlogger, you're saying
Yeah,
Like, let's take it to that extreme.
That's a great example.
where your
of-
everyday life is social media and the internet.
I think you're fooling yourself into thinking that doesn't affect who you are.
Yeah,
As
I think it does, and I think that's okay. Honestly, I'll be the biggest proponent of separating the two, But if your job is a daily vlogger, then I think it's only natural that you become a certain type of person, and it does affect your real life.
But just be careful, though, as far as saying that, because we don't know personally any daily vloggers. So your opinion might change of somebody that if you actually meet a daily vlogger, and if they're not as genuine as you think that they should be because of the fact that they're daily vlogging, does your opinion change?
Yeah, I don't think I personally like that person. But
Right.
I think if you also are making good money being a daily vlogger, you're winning in some sort of way. So just because I'm not your friend.
But
You're
here,
fine.
let me take it a step further. So I have a theory that if you are a person that lives your life on social media, and to your point, like you're a daily vlogger and you live your life online, and your life is your real life is actually being affected by the fact that you're a daily vlogger. You get along with other people like that, as far as because you guys are they're-
Like-minded people.
right, like-minded people, as far as and that is your what's right, like direction of thought, or like that's the way you view the world is what can I present to my audience.
You always have to be in a content-driven mindset.
Right. So your fuel for life is views.
That's why I don't. That's why I personally don't fuck with these people.
But that's why I'm saying, though, is that like,
Because I'm not trying to be around my friends and just be on the lookout for being pranked every 2 seconds, or like some extra shit happening every 2 seconds.
so but that's the thing. I think that's where the confusion is, though, is that is real life to them, but that's not real life to you. You see what I'm saying?
That's why I think I have the stance I do, is if that's what you do, more power to you, and I don't look down on you or think it's whack that you become that person. Because that's you. Like, that's a great job. If you can do that for a living, be a daily vlogger, like, awesome. But yeah, you will have a different type of friend than what I would like to have, or what I would like to be, but that's just somebody else's life.
So I'm gonna take it one step further now.
You keep
and give my unpopular opinion. This is what I wanted to set it up with.
That's
is
as close to a deep thought.
I don't think that is a good thing,
Okay.
because views and likes and whatever there is now, retweets, favorites, that is not real life.
True.
So the bottom line is, and I think this is why our world is where it is today, is we do things for those things. Like, you can't help the fact that when you post a photo and it gets more likes than your previous photo, you get pumped about that. And it gives you, like, now the dopamine hit or whatever. Like,
It's the whole
it's an
mentality
addiction.
of if you post a photo on Instagram and it gets no likes, do you take it down?
Right.
But my answer to that would be no, because you didn't post, like, you're not supposed to be necessarily posting it to get likes. You're posting it because that's the picture you want to
Well, a lot of people hide behind, I just want to share with my friends.
Yeah.
I want to keep them up to date with what is going on in my life.
Side note, don't lose your train of thought. But it just made me think about this because it's not exactly on topic, but it just made me think of it as, and maybe you can tie it in, on Instagram or social media in general. I've never understood, unless, like I said, you are the daily vlogger who people just care about your life. The whole, it's for example, it was our dad's 60th birthday over the weekend. People need to differentiate. If I took a picture with dad, right, and I wanted to post it on Instagram, there's a difference to me, and maybe I'm just, king of minutia, like reading too far into it. But I hate when people are like, here's a picture of me and my dad. It's his 60th birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. Hope it's right, like this big paragraph to your dad, who's not on social media.
Yeah.
I think that's the corniest shit ever.
Right.
Now, if you want to post a picture of your dad and you, or just your dad, whatever, on his 60th birthday to social media, and say, it was my dad's 60th birthday. He had a bunch of his friends over and we played poker and it was dope. Cool. That's like
You're
kind of
documenting your day.
vlogging your life.
Yeah.
But to write this heartfelt speech to your dad on Instagram when he doesn't have Instagram, that's supposed to be to him corny as shit because you're just reaching for. But that's what people buy into these days.
But that's my whole problem with the whole thing is to add to that.
Write him a letter and give it to him.
That's my thing. That's why right now, like as of the last probably 4 years, I want to say, unless you are like, well, actually not. Like, I really try not to do this, is I don't believe in wishing people a happy birthday on Facebook. Because if you mean something to me, I will write you in a text, and I will tell you, happy birthday, man. You mean a lot to me. This is the reason why I'm wishing you happy birthday.
Okay, but
for the sake of me wishing somebody a happy birthday on social media, what is that? What are you proving?
You're networking.
Networking?
Yeah. Okay.
For what?
You can't deny that, and maybe you don't feel this way, but lots of people do. They remember little things like that. Oh, so-and-so wished me a happy birthday, so I'm in their good graces, whatever. Like when something comes up, oh, so-and-so didn't wish me a happy birthday. It's fuck them. It's on site.
People actually think that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. See, but that's why I bring up this topic, is because I think we've lost sight of the fact of, okay, if you're one of those people that actually like reads into who wished you happy birthday on Facebook and who didn't, you might need to reevaluate your whole
I think it's a
relationship life.
I think it's a young, old, mature, immature thing too, as well. Though, like when I was in high school and college, early college, I feel like I was wishing everyone happy birthday on. Like when someone I knew's shit popped up on Facebook, I don't know. I was wishing people happy birthday, but I don't do it anymore.
It might be.
I also don't use Facebook anymore.
Or is it a new/old Facebook thing? Like, Facebook, social media in general was like very new. Yeah, as far as especially when
I don't know if the young kids are doing that these days.
I don't know,
because that was the thing when we were younger. Like,
but it was new. It was like it was the natural thing. It's like, okay, this new thing that
this is how I know when everyone's birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you didn't know any better. Like, it wasn't such a precedent back then. It actually did kind of mean something.
Yeah,
back then. But now it's just everybody's on it. It's so easy, and it's so broadcasted. Like, it almost gives the identity of being fake because of how in front of everybody's face it is. Like, let me make sure that all of my friends and your friends know that I wished you a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Should I have prepared a big statement for Dad wishing him happy 60th for this podcast since he doesn't watch it or listen to it?
The thing is, too, and I hate bringing this topic up, is just because I really don't think that people realize what they're even doing when they do that. Like, they think it's coming from the most genuine, like, but it goes back to what I brought up this topic.
Go back down the road of where you were going to go, and we kind of got sidetracked.
That's what I'm about to do. Okay. So, to even bring it back full circle is, you used social, like, for me, okay? I could, because I know a lot. I have friends that are very much so the opposite of me. And
they're cool?
They don't have, that's funny. They don't have like a business that is strictly online like me and stuff, but they live very normal lives. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. The bottom line is, though, they are much more social media oriented as far as their personal lives go than I am.
Yeah.
So, let me collect what I was even saying here. Because of the fact that since probably my age people probably got on Facebook around like 2007, I would say. So 2007 to now, social media has been a huge part of their life for 11 years. That is their life. Like, if you have used it religiously to post every little thing about your life, and that is the way you communicate, and that is the way that you you deem is acceptable to show people you love them, to show what you disagree with, to show what you agree with, to put in your opinion on any little thing, any little aspect of your life goes onto social media. You are then owned by social media.
Disagree.
But what is the reason?
To me, okay, like you said,
okay,
every little opinion.
Wait.
No, let
me add something. Let me add something because this is very important. What I didn't say is, and you're posting it for what reason? You're posting it because you keep checking your phone. Oh, people either agree with me or they disagree with me, and I got this many likes or this many favorites or whatever. And regardless of whether you admit that or not, I catch you checking your phone, seeing not even adding anything to anything. You're literally just checking your phone to see how many people liked your photo.
Yeah, I do that.
But at what point is that a disease?
It's a thing. Like, okay, so you brought up, okay, people are on social media and they post things from their life to, is that how you show people you love them and how you show all your opinions and all this stuff, right? So, no, I don't think people use social media to show people they love them. I think it's maybe a way. And it's definitely a way to keep up with people because let's say you don't live in the same place.
I agree.
So yeah, that is a good way to show people that you're thinking about them.
Exactly.
And so that's important to me. Also, as far as showing your opinions, yeah, if I have an opinion, I'd much rather tweet it or post it than say it to one of my friends because thousands of people can see it if I tweet it or post it, and you might actually start an interesting dialogue, or you might realize, oh, there's a lot of people out there that agree with me, whereas if you mention it to one person, how far does that get you?
No. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. It's when it gets lost, and that's the only way. That's the only way you feel comfortable doing all of this stuff is on social media.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different conversation to me, though, is that we're losing people's ability to communicate face to face.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm 100% with that. Like, I think the younger generation is great on social media and great on the internet, and how quick people come up with things online, I'm still amazed at.
Yeah.
And people are clever and witty, but if you actually sat down in a room with them to have a conversation, they wouldn't be able to articulate anything they wanted to say, or they would be shy and can't talk to you.
And that's why
I think that's a problem.
That's why I'm careful about what type of opinions because the thing is, I'm always, when I'm coherent,
which is rare.
I'm always very careful about what opinion I post on Facebook because there's always a thought in my head that if I got walked up to some random dude on the street and they asked me to articulate my opinion and expand on it, I would want to be able to do that instead of it just being like off the top of my dome, I'm pissed about this.
Okay, but that's where this conversation goes, though, is I agree with you. I'm like that, too. But also, I realize that in order to be popular, be able to monetize, get an audience on social media, only touching on things you feel very confident that you can back up.
You're talking about a brand, though.
Yeah, I'm saying only touching on those things does not get you the audience, does not build you the outlandish stuff, the clicks, the not even necessarily outlandish, but just being able to in the moment form a quick opinion and put it out there, as much as it can be whack sometimes, is what gains traction.
Yeah, I agree, but taking a step
and
outside,
everyone these days wants to be able to make a living on social media.
Agreed. I think that's part of the problem, though, is you have to take a step back and you have to say, okay, so if everybody's opinion matters at every single point in time, at what point do we, like, there's no way to, like, we're either all on the same level or we're not. It's you can't have it both ways as far as, like, someone with the audience, their opinion all of a sudden becomes fact.
Yeah,
and then that's what social media does, though.
I know.
When you have so many of these opinions out there and everybody can just attach to one at any point in time, there's no there's no importance to fact.
Yeah,
There's
I
only
agree with
opinion.
you. I agree with you that just because you're a celebrity, your opinion shouldn't matter more than someone else. Unfortunately, that's just the day and age we live in. I do think, though, that if you build an audience based off of your opinions, that your opinion should matter more because there's a reason people follow you and listen to you. Like, if
As
you
long-
are a speaker on topics, like that's your job,
As long
or
as-
even a vlogger where you constantly state your opinions and you build a following, there's a reason people follow you because they tend to agree with the things you say, and I think you deserve a bigger audience then.
But you also have to keep in mind that there are a lot of young minds out there that they haven't grown up enough to even have a solid opinion on
Well,
it.
yeah, and there's like some people are lazy too. I think I even catch myself doing this sometimes. It's easy to hear one side of an argument and be like, wow, that made a lot of sense. I think that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you haven't heard the other side.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you hear the other side and you're like, ooh, that made a lot of sense too. The way you framed that. Okay.
Right.
I'm not really sure how I feel. And then you got to look up facts. But that's just kind of the age we live in. That's life with social media. There's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of shitty things that come along with it.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, though, if it's like the best thing for humanity, though, as far as like
Probably not for humanity, but
that. And that was my only thought when I was thinking about
although
this
there
is
are so many positive things that come from social
there
media.
are great
too.
things, but it goes too far at some point.
For sure.
You can't. I mean, it's really tough for me to be like, because I do even check myself a couple of times, but it has been more so the last few years. A thing I check myself on is I post a photo on Facebook and check myself checking how many likes that I got.
Yeah.
Well, I can't fool myself to think I'm just updating my friends on shit when I care about something like that.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things with branding too. Like I'll go since I'm an artist.
This is separate from branding.
Okay.
That
just
I'm
personal.
not-
So
yeah, that's-
it's hard for me to say. I'd like to think that if not for the business that I wouldn't be too attached
That's
to
why I
social
thought
media.
about it, though, is because I hide behind. I try to like keep it real with myself as far as like, is this really for branding, or are you just trying to get that hit of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people like me? Like, why?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's social media.
Yeah.
Because yeah, of course, for our branding, we have to care about that. Like, but that's why I have a Moti account and I try to use my Facebook as a personal. And the reason why my Facebook is not as populated as my Twitter page is because personally, I don't feel it's as necessary to keep posting.
Yeah, and I guess the way you word that, I think I have kind of proven that I don't need it that much on my own outside of the business because I'm the same way. I try to keep my Facebook for personal, and I probably haven't posted on there in like 4 months.
Yeah.
So, but then again, I get the same thing some people get from posting on Facebook and stuff, the same high they get when they get likes and stuff on that. Like I'm getting that through our business on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. So
No, you are for
yeah,
sure.
so I can't sit here and preach about it. Like I don't know.
And
about
that's why it's mostly with my Instagram and my Twitter. I try to check myself as far as like, why am I posting this?
Yeah.
Like, is it for the business or is it just because I'm feeling down about myself? I need that.
I think the scariest thing with Twitter is just it's only a certain amount of characters, and you can just put something that makes a lot of sense as a headline, clickbait type stuff. You get a bunch of retweets and stuff, and everyone agrees with it. Yet the small minority of the people that see that maybe even clicked on the article and know what's actually going on, things like that. Like there was one I saw right when I woke up this morning that was it was something like, it was on Twitter, something like a transgender woman won her second straight wrestling title or something. And there's a picture, and it's this woman who looks, or this girl, I can't remember how old, looks like a man, like a boy kind of, and got this girl in front of her in a chokehold, and it says like, you know, transgender woman wins. I wish I could find it, but of course the natural thing that everyone's going to think when they see that is this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Transgender wrestler Mac Beggs wins second straight Texas girls high school title. And this is the picture. So, of course, what's the first thing you think? That's a guy wrestling girls. No wonder they're winning, blah, blah, blah. But if I think if you read the article, and I'm going to say this right away, I just saw it on Twitter this morning, so I haven't researched it or whatever. So I could be wrong, but this is just an example. Is if you read the article in full, I believe it is the transgender person is in the process of transitioning from female to male, not from male to female. But just by seeing that Twitter headline, and I'm not saying that's right either. That's a whole nother conversation of whether they should be competing with the women or the men or whatever. But I'm just saying the first thing you think is that's a male transitioning to female, transgender, and wrestling against women. And right away you're like, that's bullshit. That should not be happening, blah, blah, blah. And that can get a shit ton of retweets and all these comments on people thinking that. But if you click the article and read it, it's not that simple. But that's one of the scariest type of things to me on Twitter.
Well, that's why.
Because it's just X amount of characters, and that's what you get, and people make gut reactions on whether they side with it or not, and just that can get in trouble.
And even pausing for a second just to say, podcasts, I love podcasts because within the name podcast is the expectation that this is all opinion.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to even preface stuff by saying, I feel like...
That's why I love podcasts, because I am never tuning into a podcast
believing it's CBS.
This is, yes.
Yeah.
But that's the problem that I have with news agencies today, is because they're trying to act like podcasts, because this is starting to become very popular.
Right. People like the opinionated stuff.
Yep. But
and then they choose whose opinions they like, and that's who they listen to.
But they're still doing it under the identity of being news.
Right. Yeah, if you want to be the news, you got to report the facts and the news. And if you want to have all your opinions and stuff, then that better be a separate thing.
You better preface that thing 3 times before you start ranting off on opinion.
Right.
Because I'm tuning into you to get the facts. I'm not tuning into you to get what your opinion is.
Yeah.
I could care less.
Right.
I will listen to your podcast if I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm with you. It's a good discussion. You got anything else you want to talk about today? I went to a on Thursday, last Thursday, I went to a rock show at the front room at the intersection. One of Gloria's good friends, her boyfriend is in a band. Shout out to Hollow Front. It's really the first rock show I've been to. I pretty much stay in my hip hop bubble for the most part, but I went to go show love. They're good people, and so we get there, and the first act is on. We're just watching kind of from the bar. So to set the scene, it's like, what do you think the stash is? Like 500, 400 people, something like that.
Yeah.
Capacity.
Probably 400.
Capacity venue. There's probably, I don't know, 100 people there, 150, something like that. Tough to say. I'm not good with that shit, but something like that. And then they're done, and Hollow Front, Tyler's band, he plays bass. They go on next. And so we go up by the stage, and they're setting up, doing all this shit. And Allison, Gloria's friend, Tyler's boyfriend, when they're about to start, turns to me and says, we had just gotten fresh beers. So, we got full beers. She's like, I would drink half of that before they start and make sure you keep an arm free. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. And but I'm still thinking, though, like, there's not many people around me. I'm kind of off to the side near the front.
Right.
Like, okay, but I'm not too worried about anything. But I do it. I drink some of my beer. I'm ready.
Right.
And so this thing is just about to start. Like, they're just about to start. They're set. Glow hands me her drink and says, can you hold this? And she gets out her phone. She wants to take some pictures because Allison gets really into Tyler's shows, and she just is in the moment, and Glow takes pictures for her. And Right away, I get this drink. Glow starts opening her phone. Show starts. Boom! I just get assaulted. Spilling drinks. I'm like split second reaction. I'm pissed. I'm like, this is straight up assault. Like you just tackled me. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, you've never been to one of these shows. You got warned. This is just what they do.
Yeah.
And so I was more pissed at Glow than anything. She handed me a full ass beer right when this shit started. I just had 2 beers in my hand like this, just getting wrecked. But so as the show went on, I was more aware of this. Basically, they had the whole front row. There's people rocking out. Then there's kind of the sides, and they leave the whole middle open for moshing. And it's just these guys flying around, tackling each other, hitting each other and shit. It's a whole different vibe than any of the local hip hop shows we've seen. And it must be something like, I don't know. The first band that was on, they weren't really doing that, so that's why I wasn't prepared.
Right.
But that's just a thing, and it was kind of it's a cool energy. It's definitely different. Shout out to Hollow Front though. The show was really dope. I need to do that more often. Go to some different genres of shows, because going to a bunch of hip hop shows, you don't get you get a similar vibe all the time. And I think there's things you can grab from how other performers go about their live shows that you can use in a unique way in hip hop.
Right.
And not just do the typical hip hop show.
Right.
But they put on a really good show. I had fun, and I definitely want to go out and support them again. But yeah, that was just an interesting experience for me.
Yeah, I've heard of those type of shows, and I've never been brave enough to go to one.
Yeah, no, it was dope. But well, but really, if you go in unprepared, it's assault. If you're just standing there, they will assault you.
But if it's expected though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
you can't be mad, because everyone that's been there knows.
That's wild. The last thing I wanted to bring up is explaining how music videos work, as far as
I don't know. I suck at music videos.
As far as what makes a quality music video, as far as
I don't know.
You do know, because you do know what goes into making a music video and what is necessary for it to be a quality product. And when you're lacking one of those, you don't get a quality product. You know what has to go into a music video.
How many really good music videos do you think I've made?
Really good ones? Honestly, I don't think that there's... I've never been happy with a music video that we've made.
I Already See It.
I liked it. It wasn't like...
I Already See It. I like Basement Freestyle.
Here's an insight to what I'm talking about, though.
Okay.
We make music, and we make it to our specifications. There's not one thing there's little things that were like, this could have been better, but as far as execution and what was delivered in that project, we are always 100% happy with. Correct? Or else we wouldn't be putting it out. Because
just
we have
the music you're talking
we have full control
the music.
over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The song.
Yeah.
Yes. The track.
Yeah.
That is because we are musicians. Like we are very experienced as far as this stuff goes, and we know how to execute the idea to the fullest extent. And there is nobody else that is needed in order for us to get our creativity out there the way that it was intended to be.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Music videos are different. I am not a videographer, director, producer, video-wise, as far as that goes. I can try, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I lack what is necessary in order for me to get out my idea to the best extent that I can. So, and there's another instance that goes into that, is money. Now, this is not very different as far as music goes, but the amount of money is different. You still need money in order to make the music the way that you want it to. But this day and age, you do not need as much to make it as what you want.
Plus, the music, you can invest in things that you can use for X amount of time, for X amount of songs and projects. Whereas with the video, if you're not going to be the one becoming the videographer, producer, whatever, and you're paying someone for their services, you are paying a big upfront. You're paying a big upfront cost for a video, and then you're doing it again the next video.
Right. Well, and there's things like you got to pay actors if you want those. You got to pay extras. You got to pay the venue that you want to shoot in.
Yeah.
Like with music, we made music out of our bedroom for X amount of years. We were paying rent anyway. That wasn't an extra cost into making music. We bought an audio interface and a mic, which were used for multiple projects. We can't, like, the only thing that we can really say that is like that is a camera and a tripod and things like that. Like,
but that's why I guess you can draw a parallel, though, that, you know, if you want to be the videographer, you can do the same thing we did with music. So, but if you want to pay the videographer, then it also would be expensive to pay if you are just a rapper and you want to pay for everything else, engineering, mixing, mastering, producing, all that stuff. If you want to pay distribution, all this stuff,
right,
then that gets expensive too for every song and project.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that different. Do you?
It does if you want to evolve. Because the thing is, in order to create crazy produced music videos, like things that, especially this day and age, things that you watch and you're like, whoa, that shit was dope. Most of the time, and I'm talking like 85% of the time, there was a large budget that went into that video. And it's far bigger than what we have paid yearly for music.
Yeah.
To do what we need to do for that one video.
Okay.
So it is different as far as when I want to up my game musically, I just need to come up with more ideas and more sounds, like in my head.
Okay. So where are you going with this? So
I think there's a misunderstanding, though, of when someone sees a music video and they're like, I'll explain my backstory to this. The other day, I was looking through your YouTube comments, and I found
a bad decision.
I found a absurdly amount of comments on different music videos. An absurd amount of comments. That were, why does this music video look so much better than this music video? Or why are Packy's old music videos so much better than his newer music videos? Or why does Marcus have better music videos than Packy's music videos?
Because Marcus be paying money.
But that's
a fair question for a fan to ask.
And that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because I do think that there's a disconnect as far as like quality of music and quality of music video are not the same. Because you make quality music does not mean then you can go out and make a quality music video.
Right, but I also I get what you're saying and agree, but also from a fan's perspective, it does make sense that the bigger your music gets, that your music videos would follow suit, because you just assume the bigger your music gets, you're making more money in music, and you can invest that into music videos, which you couldn't before.
That would be normally the way that things would go, but
it just to me it just depends on the importance you place on music videos. We invest our money in other more important places for us.
Well, and I think this day and age you're starting to see it a little bit more, as far as there's always going to be the artists that have the friends that are really good with videos, and they take advantage of that, and they all succeed because of that fact. Not every artist is like that. Not every artist has their friend be the videographer and can actually follow through with that.
Right.
But it's becoming more and more so today that you get the middle class artists, as far as like, dude, we make a modest amount of money. It's good enough to live on, but it's not a lot. And we have to wisely choose what we invest that money into as far as the career goes. We invest our money in, instead of crazy music videos, we've invested it in a music label, merch, things like that.
Right.
That a lot
Office
of artists
space,
don't necessarily
start
have.
this podcast type stuff. All these other things. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And like, for example, this year I'm making a decision to just get back to what we did back when we first started with the music videos. Of, we know they're not going to be the illest shit out there, but you know what? I'm sick of not having visuals for my songs
Right.
because people like that.
Mm.
So this year, I'm just going to make visuals for my songs that hopefully some of them will turn out to be really dope. Some of them won't,
Right.
but they'll be there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pay an arm and a leg for them. So if they don't turn out how I wanted, I'm not going to feel shitty about it.
Right.
We're just going to do visuals. Because to me, I made the decision that it's better to have them than not have them.
Yeah, it is. But that's the thing is like you just kind of got to accept
Like we
what
shot
you can make.
we shot a visual with Aiden for We Know You in Real Life a few weeks ago. And you're in it, Q's in it. We shot it in the office. Just like 3 different scenes. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet, but it's going to be very simple.
Mhm.
Which I kind of wanted for the We Know You in Real Life thing. Like, I wanted it to be simple.
Right.
But at the same time, it has to be because I'm not paying a bunch of money or anything for it. But at the end of the day, whether fans love it or hate it or are lukewarm about it, there's a visual out there for that song now.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that can't hurt.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, and that's the only reason why I wanted to bring it up is just I do feel like the more I read comments and the more I'm seeing the disconnect as far as like because you make dope music, that should mean that you're making dope music videos, and when you're not, you are slacking. That is just not.
Yeah.
You might be slacking on the quantity,
Right.
but that does not mean that you're slacking on quality.
Right.
It's
But I understand a fan's frustration, though, because you see all these other
and
dope
that's
videos
not-
from these other
Yeah,
artists.
that's
and
not
you're
what
like,
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
know that we're frustrated, too.
yeah, it's
that would be it.
yeah, it's the two-sided frustration. It's not just
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is I do get frustrated because I feel so much in control of our music as far as like when someone says, I don't enjoy your music as much as I did, then that's a personal thing to me because that's when I'm just like, I have to step up my game because I'm in total control of that and there is no excuse.
Well, you're in total control of your music, but you're not in total control of people's
an opinion.
random ass opinions.
But I do feel like it lights a fire in me to be like, I want to do better.
Yeah.
But that's good. But there's a disconnect there because when someone disses my music video, well, shit, like I could have planned it a little better or whatever, but there's so many different aspects that go into that that it's hard for me to be like, oh, well, I guess that's your opinion and that's pretty much it. Like there's really nothing I can do about that. We made the most of our budget. We got who we could.
And that's why we went through, or I've gone through periods of time. I'm in one right now of where I just don't have music videos because I know the quality isn't there and I don't want to put out a product that I'm not super hype about. But then at the end of the day, I look back and fans enjoyed some of the old stuff that I look back on and I'm like, that's a shitty video, but they liked having a visual for it. And
Right.
I would probably be the same way. So
Right.
What does it hurt?
No, I know. I mean,
Anything else you want to touch on?
I think that's it for me.
I don't really have anything else. For those in the mid-Michigan area, I'm opening for Futuristic in Detroit, March 7th. You can still get tickets at onlyfuturistic.com.
Yep.
He's traveling with an opener, so it'll be me, then his traveling opener, then him.
There's a link to it on your website too.
Okay, you can go.
Specktators.com/Packy. Scroll down to his events. It's right there. You'll be able to get tickets. It'll link you right to the site that you need to go to for that.
It is 11:12 a.m. at the moment. I haven't heard from Ali Joseph, OJ Creep Mob, about his new song that I'm featured on, but I see it is currently up on Spotify, so I have put it in my artist picks. And we're going to play that when we outro here, but go check that out. He's the homie. Show some love to that. Say what up to him. All that good shit.
We finally have a way for you guys to ask us questions on the podcast. 2 ways. You can pick whatever one tickles your fancy the most. We have a phone number. You can reach that at 1-616-606-5017. And that'll take you That'll take you directly to a voicemail service. You'll hear my name, or not my name, my voice. And all you need to do is leave your name, where you're from, and what your question is.
You give the instructions on the...
Yep. The instructions are on the voicemail. So just leave that, and we'll go check it every week, and we'll pick some of the ones that we want to answer.
If there's any good ones.
If not, we'll totally ignore it.
Don't come to us with some bullshit.
Also, you can tweet a video with your voice recorded on it. We don't need your visual. We just need
We'd like
your
to
voice.
have the visual so we can see you guys.
If you want to do the visual, you can do the visual, but don't feel like it's necessary.
Correct.
And just tweet that at the Specktators, and we will review those as well. But yeah, I think that's it. So the phone number is 1-616-606-5017. And I'm sure if you're an international fan, do not call that number because I'm pretty sure you will be charged for that. But this is mainly...
So international people don't phone in, do the Twitter thing.
Right. That's why we're doing the Twitter thing, is because I do feel like that's going to be better for the international people.
Okay.
This is a U.S. number, so it's going to be treated as one. So if you know what your current phone situation is, you can judge it for what it is there.
Word. Shout out Michigan State Hoops, Big Ten champions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make a run.
Through all the bullshit. All right. Outroing Redo by Ali Joseph featuring Packy.
We never had a bad time, only bad timing. You said we were done, you were always bad at lying. I know you been checking on me, you know I don't got nobody. Why are we still looking around? We could get it on and poppin'. Don't be telling me you don't feel it too. I got the blues, you better not got nobody new. I got some naughty things we could do. Get you up out of that bodysuit and get down like somebody shooting, girl. Hallelujah, for you I'll be a fool. Let's not waste time, I need you now. Don't know about forever, but we can figure that out. Don't make me beg, you want it bad as I do. Don't tell me you don't need me, I hate being lied to, yeah.
Yes, when I see you, I'ma need a redo. I know we can get that.